And we are back for the third and final tier list, completing the Holy Trinity. And today I have with me Mathematico, who is going to help me with this. He is not just a Vasari player, but plays all races even to a high level. And you've been in the Sins community for a long time, right? You've been here since one, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing since I was like 13.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually remember I used to actually read some of your guides back in the Sins 1 days. No, I did. But like then my goal was just to kind of beat my friends. So, but it helped. It really helped. I actually did beat my friends after.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah. There was this asteroid trick where you could. I think I told you about that. There was this.
Yeah.
You can do. You can colonize with. You could colonize with a single colony frigate.
They kind of killed that instance too.
Yeah. It doesn't really work.
You can do it on the planets that have the 2,000 hit points buff, but that's it.
I see. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like you spawn influence turrets in the corner, and then you can make a turret to the front.
Yeah. I never thought about that, but yeah. Should try that if there's
yeah, try it at home.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
Try it at home. Yes. All right, but by the way, I also want to ask, do you have a favorite race? Since you play all races, do you actually have one that you prefer?
Not really. I alternate, and usually my favorite is the last one I've been playing a lot. Just naturally works like that, and usually it's my strongest one because I get better over time, and the last one I play is. But no, don't really have a favorite.
Yeah. You're a versatile player, and I think you have a lot of different strategies whenever I see you play. And I don't see you play the same way usually when I see you play.
Yeah, I like to switch it up a lot because it's good for learning, but also I like being unpredictable.
Yeah. I think that's also good. But okay, we get to the ships here, I guess. So I guess I'm just gonna take these ones now. These are kind of redundant ones, but still wanna use them. Or do you think they're redundant?
Okay.
So we got the scout.
You haven't watched my tournament game, I think, because then the scout goes in completely imbalance, obviously.
Oh, so it is in Imba tier.
Yeah. No, I would. Have you seen it or no? Or you don't remember?
I think I saw your game against. I think I saw your game against Sabic. Yeah. That was a really cool move. So yeah, you wanna tell
not imbalance, but I think it's great. Like if the average scout is solid, then this one should be above like the advent of the tech ones.
Yeah, because it has guns, right?
Yeah. So sometimes I'll open like Dano Factory just to make scouts, even though I'm gonna go cap ships. So,
right.
It's worth it.
Okay. And
the migrator, it can make star bases.
Oh, it can.
Yeah.
I see.
So starbase are a tier 3 tech, and that's like a tier 3.5. You can make them from cap ships and migrator. I've seen that used rarely, but it gotta account for something, I guess.
Yes. I mean, I think wasn't it like that in Sins 1 where you could
but Sins 1 it was the only way to make starbases.
Yeah, and the other races had like a special ship that they had to build, right, to make starbases.
Yeah. And they had an expensive cruiser.
Oh, okay. So they kept that in Sins 2. I like that. Okay, that's solid tier then.
And it's also probably the best colony frigate in general, just because it can actually clear an asteroid by itself, like later in the game.
Oh, it so
yeah, okay. It has guns. And
okay, so it has
yeah, it's relatively tanky.
Okay.
I don't know where you put the Connie frigate in the other factions, but probably one above where they were.
Okay, I think I put the colony frigates in solid there, but or
Okay. Well,
situational
I wouldn't put it in great either. Yeah,
Yeah,
leave it in solid. That's
yeah,
perfect.
we get solid. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I think Sabic pulled a really cool trick on Mathematico where he used scout guns to prevent the ghost turret on an asteroid from regenerating health when it was building. So Mathematical was
Yeah,
trying to build a turret like preemptively because he knew he was getting attacked, and Sabic used Scout to keep it low
a
health.
single scout killed three anti-cap ship turrets.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's almost imba. Almost imba.
Yeah, almost him.
Yes. Okay, and now we get the most annoying ship of all time, the Raider. Where do we put this?
I think we put it in great. I wouldn't say it's imbalanced, especially with the on the current patch. But this one definitely has potential to be imbalanced in function of balance.
I see. And how do you use these generally? You must make like 10 or 15 and then you throw them in there, or and just hope for the
Uh,
best, or do you have any
okay,
strategy?
they have a ton of different purpose. They're the best ship to fight like bombing frigates raids. They were quite well versus that.
Okay.
You can bring them in your push to clear turrets while the rest of your ship fight. You can use them after you beat someone or take a position. You use them to make money off their stuff. And sometimes you just make a money farm. Like if a tech player has like a couple of Reaper platform and they're not like paying attention, that's like couple hundreds crystal metal per minute just from that. You can also use them as just a rat tool to go around their backline, try to pull them out of position, tax their APM a lot. They're very good, and generally you should have them like every single game.
I see. So yeah, they're not like situational at all. You should complement your fleet with them always, I think.
Yeah. Well, Vasari is a naturally aggressive race, and that's like the best aggressive ship in the game. So
yes. And with the repair platforms, I presume you mean that the repair platforms keep healing each other, and
yes.
You can get the raiders to kind of infinitely shoot at them while they heal up, so you get infinite money, right?
Yeah, at least until they run out of antimatter. After that, it's a lot less, and then either you reduce the amount of radar shooting, or you just kill it and move on with your life.
Ah, true. Okay, and next corvette, or did you have something more?
Yeah, a little bit. They're actually decent at fighting some stuff. With their 150 pierce and 300 pierce. So there are some situations where even for fighting, you'd rather have them than defenders, which is
Oh,
the
I
next
see.
ship.
So against cap ships, or
Not really cap ships. Well, no, not really cap ships at all, but more like Kalivs, Krosovs, stuff like that.
ships with a little bit higher durability, or
Yeah. Ships that are around 150 durability usually.
I see.
Usually ships that can shoot at them back, especially because they are pretty squishy for their cost.
Yeah, they're
But
very.
they do pack a decent punch.
Yeah, I think they die very fast. They die very very fast if they get shot at. But
Yeah, for the amount of money you put into them, it feels bad. But
right.
especially because when you're shooting structures, you lose them, you get your money back as they shoot the structure. When you're fighting ships, you don't. So
Yeah, and
it needs to be good trades.
yes, but because that's the point, is that they're even though they're squishy, they're supposed to kind of make money back very fast because they can, yeah, they make money from shooting buildings. So it's a worth trade off.
Yep.
And but then, my question was about the defensor then, because because I thought that most ships have like 150 durability. So then, where do you want to get the defensor then? Because then it seems like raiders should just. I mean, kobolds have 150 durability, I think, or something like that.
No, kobolds are 50.
Oh, they're only 50? Oh, I see.
Yeah, all light frigates are 50. The corvettes are 0. Which doesn't matter then.
Okay. Okay, then
but
that makes sense.
Yeah. Defensors have way better stats for the cost than raiders. But they don't kill buildings, and they have 50 pierce. I would put them in solid. Well, okay, so in Vasari versus Vasari, they're imbalanced. But in every other matchup, they're usually situational. So where do we put that?
Yeah, we can. I guess we put them in. I guess they get like, if they had one grade, they should get like a plus. So if they had B, they should get B plus, I guess.
We'll put them in solid.
Yeah.
I think they're great. But they have some very hard counters that can be hard to deal with.
So, like what, for example, a Tempest? I know
So
Tempest is very hard.
the Tempest, counters are very hard, and the AOE's abilities usually counters them pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
For Advent, there's also the Alcyon ability that's very strong, or even the cap ships AOE. Like as Advent, you don't even need Tempest to really beat defensors if you have like 2 cap ships in an Alcyon.
Because of the telekinetic push and
Plasma Nova, yeah.
Yeah. I see. And
but you can still use them for some all-ins, and usually the Advent's not gonna make a lot of cap ships with Vasari early on, because they're very vulnerable to enemy Vasari's cap ships. So you can still try tricks with them.
Okay. But
and
yeah, sorry.
And in Vasari versus Vasari, you have to make them. There's no other options.
Yeah, that was my question, because I wanted to ask how come you have to make them Vasari versus Vasari?
Well, a couple of things. Cap ships are not generally very good versus them. They also reduce the damage of enemy cap ships with their PD guns.
I see.
And like it's possible to not make them, but you're gonna lose like a lot of map control and stuff.
I see.
Like I think the basic is just to spam them until you have like 100 or so of them, and then you can think about doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Vasari is very dependent on their missiles, and these shoot them down easily.
Yeah, they have PD guns, which is very good, and I'm guessing because like the only other ship that you can make early is really the skirmisher or the raider, but those get completely demolished by corvettes too, right?
Yeah.
So it's
and the Kenrax, which also gets. Well, the Kenrax doesn't die super quickly to the defenses, but it does 0 damage because of the PD. So
right. Yeah. So that's true. Yeah. So the defensor counter basically every early Vasari, every other early game Vasari-ship.
Yes. And you need to make. Okay.
No, sorry.
I was gonna say you need to make sure that you don't have a little bit less than your opponent, because then it snowballs very quickly, not in your favor.
Mm-hmm. So scouting and so on is very important in that matchup.
Yeah, it's not like light frigates where you can take fights with having slightly less light frigates than your opponents. Don't do that with defensive.
I see. Yeah, and it's easier to run away maybe with light frigates and so on.
Talking about light frigates.
Yes, talking about light frigates, we have the Vasari light frigate.
I think solid.
Yeah. So when I made the tech one, I put the light frigate in solid. I'm not sure if I would put that there again. With Kiss put the Advent Light Frigate in great tier.
Well, that's interesting.
But I think
because I think the tech one is better than the Advent one. But
I see. Okay. Yeah, I actually think I actually would put the tech light frigate in great now as well. I really like them now. I think they're very nice.
Okay, well then the Ravastra goes in great too, because they it's pretty similar to the other two light frigates. They all have their pros and cons, and yeah. So that one pros is that it's very cost efficient, and then one cons is it's very supply inefficient.
I see. So okay, so it's it does a lot for the cost, but you can't get too many of them, basically.
Yeah, which forces you to trade a lot. By trade, I mean like fighting. So you need to fight a lot with them to get their value. They're not a good unit to make in the back and do nothing with them, especially if you have like less income than your opponent.
I see. Yeah, that's cool, and that plays into to the fact that Vasari is supposed to be an aggressive race.
They also have another big advantage, is that they cost a lot of metal and very few crystal, which generally aligns with Vasari like default income. So they work very well for that.
Yeah, because Vasari, the bottleneck resource for Vasari is usually crystal, I think. So you have
and with light frigates, it's usually not the case, which means you can allocate your crystal for other stuff.
True.
Or you can just not make the crystal economy investment in the first place and still be fine.
Right. Okay, so that's very good with them then. I didn't know, I haven't thought about the cost, but I guess Defensors and the Corvettes cost more crystal then?
Yeah. So, like to if you spam Defensors, you're gonna see like they cost relatively to the light frigates like twice as much crystal for their overall like power and cost. Like even 3 times per supply. So you're gonna run out of your starting crystal very quickly if you go defensive. While if you go light frigates, you won't.
Okay.
You're starting 5,000 crystal. You can make like you can fill your whole first 2 supply with light frigates without any problem.
Mm-hmm. So if you spam Defensors, you better find an ice planet, I guess.
Yeah, or go into extractors or crystal nanites. It's tier 2 civic.
Yeah, those are also options. Yeah, and you get extractors very early as Vasari too, so you can.
Yeah, they are not great, but you get them early on.
Yeah. All right, and we move on, I guess, to the final frigate, which is the Canrack Assailant, and this one was a very, very oppressive force a couple of patches back. Now, not equally much, at least. Or what do you say?
Either the best of the situational ships or the worst of the solid ships, I think.
Yeah, so somewhere around here.
Yeah, I think the best is situational.
Yeah, I think I would say so too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're made to counter cap ships that have no defenses for them, and they're very good at it. They're also decent at sieging down positions, but that's kind of it.
So yeah, they're good against structures, and they're also very good. Yeah, and they're also good against capital ships, obviously, and they're also especially good since you get them already in tier 2. So you have a very early counter to enemy capital ships, and which also doesn't scale too poorly either. So even if you get up to like tier 3, I think Canrax can still do some work. Like given that your opponent has enough capital ships, right?
Yeah, let's say we compare them to Caliph. They scale a bit better, I think, than killers.
Yeah,
But
that's also my impression. Yeah.
They're easier to counter in some situation. In other situation, they're hard to counter, and that's when they really shine.
Yes. Yeah. And that would be when the opponent doesn't have the opportunity to go for any PD.
Yeah, so let's say you're playing versus Vasari. If they're not able to make any defensors, for example, because you have an overwhelming defensor majority that you can just like obliterate the defensors before the fight really gets going, then Canrax will be decent. Or versus tech, if you have enough light frigates to destroy all the Gardas before the fight really starts, then the Canrax is actually decent.
Yeah, so it's kind of a follow-up win more tech in
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
situations.
It's a okay. I have the advantage, but then my opponent found something that stalls my push. How do I finish them? That's usually either the Canrax or the Raiders.
Yeah,
So,
the finisher, the finishing blow.
yeah.
Cool. All right, all right.
They're also decent if you're not alone. Like if you have a teammate with you, they can work a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Because the
So,
teammate
for
can
example,
complement for their weaknesses, I guess.
yeah. So if you're with an Advent player, for example, they complement the Tempest extremely well
Mm-hmm. Because
because
the
they both cover
Tempest,
each other's weakness really well.
because the Tempest can deal with the light frigates and corvettes, and then the Canrax can
Yes,
can threaten the cap
and
ships. Yeah.
and the Tempest missiles will overwhelm every like PD, so that the Kinrax missile mostly go through. So
Oh,
even versus like
nice,
PD, they'll still work.
nice, nice. Okay, okay. So that's that's also a cool thing. Combinations with other races might put it up in
Yeah,
solid, even if you have a teammate who
yeah.
plays around
If
your.
you have an Advent ally, I would recommend making them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so then they're even in solid tier, I guess, if you have an advent ally.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and
The
that's
Oppressor.
the final. That was the final frigate. So now we get to cruisers. I've been trying out oppressors a little bit myself, but
Oh yeah, I've seen about that.
yeah, but I am aware that they're a bit slow and they're a bit clunky in some ways. I would say. What do you think?
Situational, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
somewhere around here.
yeah, they have some advantage over the other heavy cruisers. Mostly that they don't suffer from the other all of Vasari-ship's issues that they don't build quick enough. Because you can build them from like normal factories.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They come with a bit of PD, which is not super relevant.
Yeah, they have.
And they're really expensive for what they do.
Yeah, they're quite expensive. They have quite long build time. You invest some money into PD, which sometimes is useful, but sometimes not. They're a bit slow. Um, but and you say
If
they. Yeah, sorry.
if you're like winning, they might be decent. Or if you want to get like a good supply efficient fleet.
Right, so so they're the opposite, I guess, than to
Light frigates, yeah.
to light frigates. They're supply efficient but cost inefficient. Then you would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't like them too much because they fill a similar role than cap ships, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which is staying power and generalist DPS and supply efficiency, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But do you think there's a room for because that's kind of what I've been trying to test out, like when I've been testing these like in single player and stuff, is I've been trying to get to a point where I can like build a couple of pressers and then also build cap ships. So I have like quite a few cap ships in my fleet, but then I then try to complement it with a couple of oppressors just for some, general DPS.
They work decent with cap ships.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of money, because they have the same, well, relatively same weaknesses and same strengths, which mean you won't they won't be countered very easily.
Yeah, they're very generalist in that sense.
Yep. Well, this is the case for every heavy cruiser, so they follow that path.
Yeah, and they're super tanky as well, which is good. Tankier than any other cruiser, I would say.
Yeah, significantly.
Yeah.
But that, well, okay. Does the Destro count? But if the Destro doesn't count, they are tankier than
Oh
Harkaz a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. The tier 4. Okay, yeah. The Destra is very tanky as well. Yeah, Kiss told me about that last video.
I'm not a fan of them right now because the current meta is a lot of Illiums versus Advent, or even Destro that beats them. And versus Tech, they will not be good versus Harkaz, but versus Vasari they're fine.
Yeah. Okay. So a mirror matchup, pretty good against the other races.
Yeah.
A bit
Only if you're already
clunky.
winning.
Yeah. Could also be a win more ship, perhaps.
Yep.
And this one we don't see too much. This next cruiser is called I barely know what it's called. It's called the Transporter, right?
Lazarak, I think.
Lazarak Transporter, yeah.
I think. I actually like that ship a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's not really what other people like. But I think it's fine.
Okay. We need to revive
One
this then. I like these two.
I would
think
put
really
it at
cool.
the bottom of solid.
Yeah.
I like it. It has a couple advantage compared to the other carriers. Mainly that it starts with all bombers, which means you don't need to switch it to bombers, and also they won't bug out. Because other carriers will kind of bug out when they're like when you switch the squadron and the squadron dies. That one doesn't have that issue. The PD it comes with doesn't matter too much.
Okay.
It has a bit less DPS than the other like carriers for the cost, but it complements a lot of stuff very well, like cap ships or Titans.
Mm-hmm. In the sense that they have PD or just
No. In the sense that they won't be fighting like while your Titans or cap ship tanks. These will just provide like support DPS to quickly kill the things that are killing your cap ships or Titans.
Okay. So and they don't, it's untrue because they're carriers, they don't have to stand in harm's way. Because that's usually what happens, right, with cap ship fights, is that people don't really
The
want
frigates
to.
die first,
Yeah,
and then the cap ships die.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to focus the Titan first usually because it's so tanky, so you're just gonna lose. But unless you have like very high DPS somehow. But
also another thing, carriers usually lose to heavy cruisers, but with Vasari, because of the egg, the Jerusalem Evacuator, they don't, because you can slow down the HCs so that the carriers are faster. So you can kite pretty much infinitely HCs with carriers.
Given that
so
you have
it's a non-negligible fact here.
Yeah, that's true. But do you need?
If you're fighting on an asteroid, not so much. But if you're fighting like on like big planets, they're very good.
Right. And would you say that you need like several levels on the gravity warhead? Because that's the ability, right, of the
Yeah. It depends. The more level that ability is benefits a lot from scaling. Like it's so much stronger at higher levels. So the more levels, the better.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, didn't know that, but yeah, the egg is a very good starting capital ship as well. We're gonna get to it.
Well,
soon
you always
too.
have it, so
yeah. You have
unless you lose it. But...
Yeah, yeah, you need to have it.
You should always have gravity war at every single game. So like you can almost count that as the base of the carrier strength.
Yes, and you should always keep the egg with the carriers. Then it's very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're also like a decent alternative to, like, if you're fighting heavy cruisers, what do you make as Vasari? You don't have a lot of options. I think the carriers is usually your best one.
Okay. Unless you're doing oppressors then, but oppressors you said lose to the heavy cruisers still.
Yeah, like if you're doing oppressors versus Harkas, you better be way better than your opponent.
Okay. Because you can just because I'm guessing that you just get more Harkas, right? If you're facing a tech, the tech can just build more.
The tech will have way more money, and there's not a lot of opportunity to outplay the tech with oppressor. Well, with carriers you might suddenly like trade extremely well because of the egg flow or just better micro, etc.
I see.
Like if you spread your carrier everywhere around the grav wall instead of like in one spot, that's also very strong.
Yeah. Yeah, just putting your carriers big because the cruisers have to turn around to go after each one and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to walk, and then if all the cruisers stick together, they'll overkill, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they lose a lot of DPS. Yeah, true.
They are quite vulnerable to light frigates, but the egg is very strong versus light frigates. So that's another thing. There usually won't be a lot of light frigates surviving in the mid game.
Yeah, so it's once again a compliment to the carriers, right? And the carriers also have because the other carriers they have 150 durability, I think. Is that also the case for this one?
I think it has 180 if I want to.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit better than against light frigates. That's a little bit better against light frigates.
Yeah, that will be a roughly 20% tankier or so versus them.
Okay.
So that helps.
Yes, that's still quite significant, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, versus I figured it helps. Versus cruiser, we won't do anything, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it. Yeah. And we have the Penetrator. This one we don't see a lot either.
Okay, if we're gonna have a ship in Kappa, this will be it. But I don't think it deserves to go there.
Okay, so we have Kappa tier, but I never see these. They are tier 4 ship, right?
Yeah, they're the equivalent to the Destro and the Ogreves.
Exactly.
But they have one problem: is they have like 0 range.
Yeah, they have to get very close.
They have a couple advantage over the other two, though. They are extremely tanky.
Yeah. Okay. Are they tankier than the Destro even?
Yeah, significantly, I think.
Okay. Nice. So what's the problem with this then? That sounds great.
They have very, very low range. Which means the Titan they're fighting, or the Starbase, I guess, needs to not be moving. Which you usually can't stop the enemy Titans from moving. But once again, they pair decently with the egg.
I see. But so what's the problem when the Titan starts moving? Because I mean,
they'll have trouble shooting at it. They might have similar DPS than the other two, but if they only shoot half the time, that means they have half the DPS. So.
But why is that? Is it because they like stutter when they're trying to shoot?
Yeah, they have a similar issue as like light frigates and stuff, because they just don't have enough range to really do anything. Yeah, they have decent weapon upgrades though.
With because it's beam weapons.
Yeah, so usually you'll have beam because of their core trolls. So I I don't think they're like necessarily useless.
Yeah, because they sound
I would.
great. Like some of the things you're saying sound great. It's just the fact that they have low range then.
Yeah, and low range and well less DPS than like an Ogrove or something.
Okay. So they still have less
They are
DPS.
they are the tankiest of them though by far. Like Ogroves are very squishy, and those are actually tanky.
Ah, okay.
So it depends, but usually Titans are so strong that you just want to take him out of the fight quickly and not like slowly kill it without losing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think these would work better if you have teammates, like it's a 2v2, for example. So, because then you can actually field enough fleet like damage with them to do stuff without, you know, without sacrificing. Like you can actually push Titans back without dedicating your whole fleet to them.
Mm-hmm. And what do you
If
so
let's say the game went to 4,000 supply, those would be decent ships, I think.
okay.
But the game stops before that. So
Yeah. And just so I understand, why is that? Is because once you're at that high
they,
supply,
they're not enough glass cannon. But versus Titans, you want glass cannons. Take that Titan or force it to retreat very quickly. Because Titans are extremely strong right now.
yeah,
So
still.
if you're not able to push the enemy Titan in time, you might just lose your whole fleet.
Okay.
Beside those ships, so everything else will die beside those. Great.
Okay. And once you have a teammate and you're at 4,000 supply, your damage is
Yeah,
gonna be high enough to kill Titans anyway, even if you have like quickly anyway, even if you have these.
yeah, like let's say you're fighting an Ankylon. The healing on the Ankylon, beside with like Don of Spam, won't really scale. So having like twice as much like fleet supply to kill it will actually push it back quickly.
I see. That's true. So yeah, the healing on the Ankylon doesn't scale because sometimes it feels like if you're facing an Ankylon Titan, the Enclave Titan, it can sometimes feel completely unkillable. But that's because you simply don't deal enough damage to outmatch the
Yeah,
healing
but
ability.
once you get to like 2 players worth of fleet, it's actually pretty easy to kill it. So.
I see. Yeah, that's true.
And it's not like the Vasari-ship, which can scale heals infinitely, or Advent that can kind of scale heals infinitely. The only option to scale heal as tech is the Dunav, and the Dunav's just not that great at it.
No, that's also what it feels like to me, is that the Dunav, yeah, it does more early game than it does like later in the game. Oh, but
yeah, because during the game you get a lot of techs for armor strength and stuff, but you get nothing that makes shield stronger. So
no. But okay, so very late in the game, these might actually come into play then, I guess.
yeah,
But
and if you have a teammate,
if you have a teammate, right?
they're actually decent versus star bases though. So or just structures in general. So you can keep them for that. So that's why
Yes.
they're not in like terrible.
Yeah, because the star bases have to stand still. So that unless they're Vasari star bases, of course. So then these should
Yeah,
be
and the
very good
Vasari
against
Starbase
those.
doesn't move particularly quickly either. So
No, it's basically a still, unless you're like
yeah,
tier 5 and have the what is it, the
like
100% speed boost on the starbase.
yeah, you don't see that often.
Yeah, it's very seldom the games get to that point, but could be fun if that's the case. Okay,
All
so
right.
we have the siege vessel for the Vasari, and this one we are so the
I think
Vasari bomber is actually a cruiser, which is really cool. So
I think they're the best ones. the best ones of the bombing frigates. Bombing ships. The only also for Vasari, the fact they are on cruiser, the only thing that changes is that they can't be made by the fabricator. But since it's the same factory for frigate and cruiser, it's usually not that big of a distinction for Vasari.
Yeah. Oh, that would be sick actually. If you could make these with the fabricator. Oh man, that would be ridiculous. Oh.
but you can. I think solid or maybe even great. I don't know, but like end of great or top of solid. I love them.
Yeah. And why do you think they're better than the normal siege frigates? Is it because of the tankiness?
A couple of things. They have a tech that lets them bomb from very far, which is super useful. Also, that's kind of related, I guess, but Vasari gets a lot more XP from bombing plants.
Oh, they do.
They get 75 with the tech, and then so
okay.
That makes bombing raids stronger, right? Because you're gonna like upgrade your cap ship more from it. So yeah, mostly those two. I think the tankiness doesn't matter too much because you either have enough or you don't have enough to kill. That's rarely super relevant. But like the range will actually be relevant in a lot of cases because you outrange like the turrets to bomb, or you can bomb planets a lot quicker because you don't have to go in the middle of the gravel then back out of the gravel. You can just come in, bomb.
Yeah. So it's basically the research. So it's not really the ship in itself. Then it's the fact that the ship, the Vasari in general, have very good research for
bombing
the
things.
siege, both the range and the increased experience.
Also, let's say you're attacking like a tank enclave, right? You need to like bomb the planet before you can do anything to Titan. Well, these will bomb the planet so much faster than any other siege. So, like, they're a lot more relevant in that case too.
Do they have higher damage than regular siege?
I don't know, but I don't think so. But they, you come in and you start bombing already. You don't need to walk through all the defenses and.
Oh yeah, because
start
of
bombing
the
range.
range.
Yeah,
That's right. That's true. Yeah, and then the enemy has to worry about it a lot sooner. Yeah.
Yes. I just think they complement Vasari well. They work well with the rest of the Vasari tech.
Yeah, and again, like being an aggressive race, just wanting to go in, have a bunch of cap ships, bomb planets quickly, go in and go out. Yep. These are really, really cool. Yeah.
And they work well with raiders too, obviously, but.
Yeah, because you kill the defense turrets with the raiders, or.
Yeah, well, the defense or also the Gauss turrets, because they're the one that will have enough range to kill them. But the Gauss are bad versus the raiders. But because you can raid more effectively. Like if you're admin, you're gonna like bomb the planets, move on to the next planet. With raiders, you're gonna bomb the planet, kill every structure, make money, make a lot of XP, and then.
Yeah.
Like the damage dealt per planet taken will be a lot greater with Vasari than the other factions.
Yeah,
I guess Pharmacy gets a bit of money, but.
Yeah, but because for the viewer, like if I know I didn't know this at first when I came in, but when I started playing the game, but apparently it is the case that even if you don't have a capital ship in the gravity well that is being bombed, right? Your cap ships still get the shared XP from the bombing.
Yeah, so the way it works is if you get XP in a gravel, including bombing, if there's a cap ship in there, it gets all of it. If there's multiple cap ship in there, they share that. And if there's no cap ships in there, yours or allied, it gets spread to your whole empire and shared between all your cap ships.
Yeah, that's insane. So you can just send these in by themselves, and still it will make your capital ships across the map level up.
Yeah, like you kill 2 level 5 asteroids with them, and it's enough to bring your cap ship from level 5 to level 6.
That's really insane. And especially with the bombing range, you can just as you say, you can start bombing right away when these come into the gravity well. So it goes very fast as well.
Yeah, and they don't suffer from like cruiser or Vasari curse as much as the other one. Where like, because Vasari cruisers are generally more expensive and their frigates are cheaper than the other races. That one is kind of like on the fringe, so it doesn't have the same downsides as the carrier or the HC or Penetrator, I guess.
Yeah, you mean so? Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the other Vasari cruisers are cost inefficient, even if they're supply efficient. But this one is cost efficient.
Yeah, that one's not as bad.
Yeah, this one isn't as bad. Okay, I see. All right, nice. And next up we have the Overseer. And this one is, this is supposed to be a support ship. So it's kind of supposed to scout out positions, I guess.
I'm gonna be honest, I never use it for scouting, ever.
Okay.
I'd never researched those, but I think the ship is still pretty good. It's just for the damage reducing ability.
Oh, okay. So it has two abilities. It has one where it tracks phase jumps, right? And then it has another one which reduces...
Which reduced damage by 15% in a decent AoE for half the duration as the cooldown.
Okay. And do you have to
So with two of them, you can keep the debuff. No, you start with it.
Oh, it's free as well. Okay, then that sounds really good. Then 15%.
Well, you need to research a ship. Yeah, they have a couple of downsides. They're really expensive. They can be stolen, and then your ship deals less damage. But besides that, I think they're decent. Probably, I think bottom of great. Because they do scale as the game goes on a lot, unlike Oshiko's, which, for example, do scale a little bit, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those will be just as effective versus enemy corvettes as they will be versus Titans.
Yeah, and these ones, I mean, so how many of these would you like to make? Because I guess you would want as many so that the ability can just keep going on repeat, so that it never... there's
okay,
never
so
any
they have the same thing as the Court Shoal, I guess. You want at the end of the fight to have two of them standing. So you want enough of them that at the end of the fight you're still applying your debuff, but not more and not less. So it really depends if your opponent will target them or not, and if you're good at microing them to keep them alive, or if they'll get stolen and you'll steal them back. Because on a couple of maps, like in 1v1 especially, there's no pirates, so you can't like steal them. So that makes them a lot better. Or if you're not fighting a raptor for a Advent.
Yeah. And that's
because losing them really hurts. They're expensive, and then your own fleet is debuffed. You're like, come on.
Yeah. That sucks. I mean, it even sucks to get even getting your Hoshikos stolen as tech or like Guardians as Advent feels really bad. But
this one feels a lot worse.
Even worse, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise it's pretty good, and I haven't tested it personally, but someone told me that they actually make the rest of the, like, for example, light frigates cost efficient versus other light frigates. Not cost efficient, supply efficient.
All right, nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, I really like them, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, to not have them. To not have it be turned against you.
Yep.
All right, and we have the last of the cruisers, the Fabricator cruiser.
Imbalance.
This one is really good, right? Yeah, this is Imba.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's great. It's it's great half the time and imbalanced half the time. But since imbalance.
Yeah, we need to put something in Imba, right?
Don't worry. We're getting to that part. But
okay, we're getting to Dark Fleet Tower. Dark Fleet Tower.
Not that one. But so the reason it's very good sometimes and sometimes just good. Okay, well that thing does that cruiser does two things. A, it lets you build frigates during the fight, which is semi-useful. It's generally not that super relevant unless you have can rack based fleets or just making raiders, because generally frigates fall off and by the time you have that cruiser, which is a tier 3. But the other ability it has, you get 12 and then 18% of everything that dies in the Gravwell of metal and crystal. So when it's very good is when you're fighting things that cost metal and crystal, and when it's not that good is when you're fighting things that are mostly credits. So tech ships are mostly credits. Advent ships are half-half, and Vasari-ships are only metal and crystal. So it's very, very good versus Vasari. And depending what you're fighting as Advent, they can be great or just good.
Yes, because so tech ships cost a lot of credits, and Advent ships sometimes cost credits, but not always. I guess these would be very good against Guardians then, for example, because Guardians don't cost credits; they just cost metal and crystal. So if you kill Guardians while these ones are in the Gravwell, you should get a lot of return, right?
Yeah, but it's rare to kill Guardians. So let's do a Carriers, for example. So Carriers versus Eliminators. Okay. So if you're fighting Eliminators, you'll only get a little portion of the metal of the Eliminator, because they are like 50% credits, 50% metal. While if you're fighting Carriers, you'll get the percentage of the whole fleet value, because they're only crystal and metal. Advent Carriers.
Okay.
Same thing with Destras or Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
So versus those, they're way better. But if you're fighting light frigate, Eliminators, they're not that good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And versus tech in general, they're not as good.
Yeah. But okay, so but great in any case, even if you're facing slightly inefficient ships, but if you're facing the efficient ships, we're putting it up here for sure.
They scale very well in bigger fights with allies, because then if suddenly it's like 2v2, then they give so much more than in 1v1 in the Gravwell. They also scale as the late game, as the ship gets you have more and they're more expensive. And one thing you have to be careful is not to lose them, like get them stolen. But at least these ones like stay out the fight. So it's not like the overseers where they need to be in the fight. These one can sit all the way on the edge of the Gravwell.
Yeah. So, but wait, what happens if a tech or Advent player steals these? Can they make
Yeah.
Can they make light frigates from this?
They can build and they get the money. Yeah.
Oh, no way! I didn't know that.
you need that. You need the text research. Okay, so when you steal a ship, you get the abilities that are currently researched on the ship. So if they don't have the money making yet, you won't get the money making from it, like by stealing it. But yeah, you can make frigates with them.
So yeah, you can send this in and like make crew subs if you've stolen this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to try this now.
They're the best ship to steal usually.
Oh my god. Yeah, that sounds really, really fun. Oh, go cruiser for us with this. Okay. Yeah, I need to make this work somehow.
Yeah. And now we're getting to truly imbalance.
Yes, here we go. Okay, so we got the mandatory ship, the Evacuator. This one is very good, right? Still, so I would put this in great.
I would put it in imbalance.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I think it's the best cap ship in the game. By far, too. The gravity warhead in particular is probably like it's the best ability in the game if you don't count ultimates. It does so much stuff, and the cap ship has good, decent stats by default. Like it's very tanky, so you don't lose it. It has decent damage. Vasari cap ship items are good in general too. So, and it can equip it. So. It buffs all of them, but you start with it, which actually, it would be stronger if Vasari started normally, even, because then you wouldn't have to level colonize. But it's just a great cap. The only bad thing about that cap ship is the ultimate.
So what does the ultimate do? I don't even know that.
Oh, it eats a planet, and you get resources while it bombs. But you don't get a lot of resources, and you don't get a lot of bombing either.
Okay.
It's decent when you're poor, but usually I won't even put a point in there.
Okay. So it's just mediocre stats on the ultimate numbers overall.
Yeah. If the ultimate stats were like twice as good across the board, it would be a decent ultimate. Okay. But right now it's just not worth it. Okay. So the egg is just too good. So the first ability, if you get it to level 3, you can bypass a lot of colonization upgrades in the tech tree because you get already mining max level. So if you colonize a primordial that normally has 4 upgrades, you get 3 free ones with the egg, and you can get the 4th one. Because the game doesn't check if you have the tech that lets you have 3 mining upgrades.
Yep.
The gravity warhead is so strong. It slows down, and speed is a useful stat, and also prevents jumping out. Which means that at the end of a fight, you'll get an ungodly amount of kills that you shouldn't have at the end, assuming you win the fight. Yeah. And if you have 2 eggs that have the ability max, you can prevent a fleet from jumping out forever.
Oh, so if you have 2 eggs at least, then
2 level 5 eggs.
Yeah.
It is very strong, and even 1 level 5 egg and like 3 turrets will kill every single cap ship because they won't be able to run away. Like 3 anti-cap ship turrets.
Yeah. But you level gravity warhead on this, I guess.
Yeah, but the other ability, the 3rd one, is also very good. The damage one. It's the best damage of, like, because every race has some AoEs on their caps. For Advent and Tech, it's a cap ship item. For Vasari, it's the egg ability. It sucks that it's an ability because you have to put points into it, but it deals so much more damage than the other ones. And it deals twice as much damage if the enemy ships are affected by gravity warhead.
And does that scale with gravity warhead so that?
No, you only need like 1 level of gravity warhead.
I see. So you level.
Well, it depends. If the enemy stands still, then more level of gravity warhead is useful because warhead will run out before the damage. But generally, only 1 level is fine.
Okay, and it still deals more damage. The AoE ability of the Evacuator still deals more damage than like radiation bombs or
Nova.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
At max level.
All right.
So everything is worth leveling on the egg. So it's very situational. It's the only cap ship where all 3 abilities are top tier.
Okay, so there's no, you wouldn't say there's any best ability. You should just go with what the situation
it will
demands.
Be situational. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Besides the ultimate, you usually don't get that.
Okay. Yeah. And we get the next cap ship. We have the imbalanced again. Okay.
Imbalanced again. Probably at the bottom of imbalanced though. Worse than the 5.
Okay.
So the only reason why this is imbalanced is because it has an AoE debuff of the whole enemy fleet. and general things that debuff the whole enemy fleet or buff your whole fleet are very strong instance, because everything clumps up together anyway. So the second ability of the Cordial lets it debuff the enemy fleet massively. They will do a lot less DPS, and it reduces tracking too, which I don't think it's super relevant, but there might be some cases where you can, like, I don't know, beat heavy cruiser with corvettes. No idea, never tried it, but we're testing. We're testing.
Yeah, it would be very weird if you could beat cruisers with corvettes, because that sounds very imba if that's the case.
Yeah, but generally, even without that ability, it would be a great cap ship because it has very good stats, and the first ability makes all the stats better. The first ability is a shield heal and damage up.
Yeah, it never dies. It never dies. Whenever you face this, it just never dies. It's
yeah,
freaking
so it's also a
unkillable.
good ship to spam for just a generalist damage cap ship and tanky. But even if you only have one in your fleet for the damage up, it's great. The third ability, it's not good.
Which one is that?
See, that's why it's not good. The third ability debuffs armor on the ship it hits, but the numbers are so armor strength, but the numbers are so low that it won't even be that much of a damage up versus a Titan, for example. Like if you have 7 Cordial, you can specialize one into it, but generally avoid.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, is that, well, against Titans it might be good, because then you have like a very important single target that you want to focus down.
Yeah,
But,
like
but
an extra
this
5% damage on your whole fleet is okay, but it's not.
it does, okay, yeah. Yeah, if the numbers are too low, then of course it's not.
Yeah,
it feels quite bad still. Yeah.
and the ultimate is very good.
Which is, I'm actually not sure. I don't know about
Okay,
the
okay.
abilities.
It puts a debuff on in an AOE on enemy ships. The debuff does two things. It makes enemy ships take more damage, so it's a DPS buff to your whole fleet that's target those ships. And it makes it that when a ship dies, it deals a bit of AOE damage to the ships around it.
Nice.
The AOE part is relevant if you're fighting like light frigates, corvettes, things like that, but otherwise not particularly. But just the damage up is good.
Yeah, it sounds very good. It sounds a little bit like, well, it sounds like the kind of like the ultimate of the call for the tech, where you get a small
Yeah, for
AOE
the
buff.
AOE part, yeah, for the AOE part, it's similar to the call, but on top of it, it makes the whole enemy fleet, well, at least what you debuff, takes way more damage from your whole fleet. So it will
Which,
make like cap ship easier to kill, Titan easier to kill, etc.
yeah, and that sounds even better, even.
Yeah. Like it would be my top 3 ultimates in the game.
Yeah, it sounds very good.
It's not quite the level of Missile Barrage, but it's up there.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Missile Barrage is also very good. I'm just very curious about the top 3 ultimates here. So we got Missile Barrage, we got this one as core tool ability, and which one would be the second place, do you think?
No, so this one would be second. Missile Barrage would be first, but try to think which one would be the third. I don't count Titan's ultimates because the generally the Titan's ultimates are strong. But
yeah.
So it's another Vasari capture.
Okay, we're gonna get there. So
Yep.
we get this is the Scirra carrier, right?
Imba.
Imba again. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm starting to see a
Well,
pattern here. I'm starting
it's
to notice a pattern.
situational. It's situationally very imbalanced. Um, just because of the heal, the single target heal and buff on it.
Yeah.
That heal does two things, which people usually don't realize. A, it heals a portion of the armor. So the more armor something has, the more it heals. But it also buffs the armor strength by a lot. Which makes the thing usually like twice as tanky on top of it. The armor strength buff slowly reduce over time, but it doesn't reduce enough. Or like it's not super relevant. I would put that one like above the fabricator.
Okay, so even here, yes.
Yeah, and it works on your ally ships too.
Oh, it does. Okay, that's also nice.
Yeah, so even with Advent Titan, it will make the Advent Titans way tankier. So generally, unless you have infinite damage, you have to kill all of the carriers before you can touch the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
And since the Titans have massive amount of DPSs, it's just too slow. You're gonna kill a couple carrier and your whole fleet will die to Titans.
So Vasari,
that's what
very
makes
strong
it
late game army, I guess, because of this.
Yeah, but even if you're stuck in the mid game and your allies in the late game, you can give them 3 carriers and then it magnitudes stronger their fleet.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if like in the semi early game, you have an ally with a Marza 6, that will prevent the Marza 6 from getting sniped.
Yeah.
Versus like 60 killers, for example.
Yeah.
And the Marza will actually beat the 60 killer instead of dying to them.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very, very good ship.
Yes, and I also noticed this. I think that's also one of the things. Whenever I face the core tool, is that I used the core tool never dies, and I guess part of it is its own ability, but part of it's also this one. The fact that it
because
has
if it
the
doubles
support
the
from
armor
the
strength
carrier.
of the core tool, then the core tool heals twice as much from the armor instead.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh
the
man.
AoE heal is decent. The cap ship has okay DPS for clearing stuff. So you can use it as a second cap ship and just clear stuff with. It's not completely a support ship. The bomber upgrade is useless. And the ultimate is situationally good.
Okay.
The ultimate lets you make 3 temporary copy of a ship. So if you, for example, steal an enemy cruiser, you can make 3 of them. Or you're running out of bombing frigates, you make 3 more, stuff like that. So
Okay.
like making copies of a Guardians is very good, but yeah, it's decent. It's worth putting points into, but it's not a game-defining ultimate.
No, I guess it feels like the point is that it's supposed to make your army composition a bit more flexible, because you can kind of you can kind of counteract, or what do you call it? Counteract a deficit somewhere, but yeah, not too great perhaps still, if it doesn't give you enough.
Yeah, it's worth putting a point, but it's not gonna win you the game. Like you don't want to farm XP to get that. It won't help you.
No, there are better ultimates.
The next ships, however.
This one, we got the Marauder, the Antorak Marauder. Is this also Imba? I'm starting to see the pattern here.
It's close. It's either at the end of Imba or at the top of Great.
Okay.
I think maybe we put it in Great because Imba is kind of full.
Yeah, it's starting to starting to be.
Yeah, plus I see the Titans too that will need to go somewhere, and
yeah, they're also gonna.
so the Antarak has 3 interesting abilities and a very interesting ultimate. The phase out lets you put a ship in timeout. It cannot be hit and it cannot do anything. It cannot take damage. It cannot cast ability. It cannot move. It cannot do anything. And it works on allied and enemy ships. So you can use it to disable a problematic enemy ships, or you can use it to save your own ships from certain deaths. It is a very good ability. The second, the other important ability is it just makes your whole fleet faster. and speed's a good stat in this game. So, and the third ability, reduce the effectiveness of structures, both like factories and like turrets in an AOE. It's okay. It's not great, but it's not useless. What do you think is when you face that ship?
I actually don't have too much of an opinion about this. I must say, I don't think I faced this too much.
Yeah,
Actually,
because
I'm very
it's
much
pretty.
just listening here because I don't really know. Actually, very unclear, very inexperienced with Vasari in general.
It's a purely support ship. But it's great. Like for example, if you're facing a Marza 6, it's and the Marza 6 start casting its missile barrage, you can click it, and then it will disable the missile barrage.
Because of the face
So
out?
yes, so let's say it
Oh,
only shot
okay.
like 3 volley of missiles. It will be the only 3 volley of missiles that have been shot.
I see.
So it's very situationally very good. The speed up will sometimes win you the game. Sometimes it won't do much. The structure disable is good, but it's rarely not what you're gonna make the interact for. It's more like, oh, it's a nice bonus.
Yeah, it sounds like something
And,
you put like 1 point into, and then you level up all the other abilities. From what I hear you say.
yeah. So you know how the carrier, you need to kill all of them before the Titans. Well,
Mm-hmm.
for the interact, they will make your cap ships harder to kill. And the ultimate is the ultimate to making your cap ship harder to kill, because the cap ship dies and then it resurrects back.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds. Yeah, I didn't even know about that ultimate either. But yeah, that sounds very strong.
You don't. Well, it's all right, but normally you're just gonna kill the interact first. And if you have 2 interact level 6, it can get pretty funny. But
Oh, two. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
the ultimate's good. It's a must-have. Like if you get the points, you click it. It's not a nice bonus. You'll get it, but it's usually not game defining. Like resurrecting one cap ship usually won't change the state of the game. I have no idea if it works on allied cap ships.
Oh, we
If
should
you
try.
can like
Yeah,
resurrect your Marza 6, that should be worth testing.
yeah, we
Because
need
it's
to
just
test
rare
that.
you have a level 6 of that. Because it's usually not your second cap ship, which is usually the only one you'll have level 6 beside your eggs. So.
Mm-hmm. But
All right,
yeah, okay.
and
So
then
the final one.
the Volcra. I think
Yeah,
it goes in great.
yeah. Below or above the Marauder?
Let's say below. I think.
Mm-hmm. Does it go below any of the
Be,
frigates or the corvettes?
below the Raiders, I think.
All right, so we put it here.
Yeah, so that one is the definition of a glass cannon with some utility in it. By default, it already deals massive single target damage, and then it has an ability that gives it even more single target damage. That ability, however, doesn't scale very well. So it will be oppressive at level 1, but like a level 5 of that won't be like 3 times as oppressive.
Okay.
The
Because yeah,
it's not like the Mars stun, which is mediocre at level 1 and very strong when the Mars is at levels 5. That one doesn't scale as much.
yeah. But one thing I would say about this ship is that I mean the fact that you can build a Volcras and that you have exotics for it right away, sorry, to kind of save up for it, it really warps. Like it's one of those really early game warping ships where you have to like this ship really warps how you are allowed to play against a Vasari player because
Yes.
you have to respect it so much. Like you can't get your capital ships in range of this and just kind of idle around and do something else. You like need to like pay attention really hard to this.
Yeah,
Because
until you have
otherwise
enough
it's
deep
just yeah
unless you have enough DPS, until you have enough DPS to push it away, it is very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. Yeah, because it just brings down your capital ships to red in like under 30 seconds. It feels like it's very, 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 very strong. Yeah.
And the other abilities, it has one that makes it better at bombing and deals extra damage to structure. So it also destroys turrets easily. And the other one lets you bomb planets better also. That one's okay. The one that spawns a bombing turret.
Yeah, there's a bombing. Yeah.
And the ultimate is very, very, very strong. It deals a portion of the enemy ship's damage in a single target. So it's the ultimate anti-Titan ability.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is very deadly, but it's not super useful versus cap ships and stuff. So even if you have a level 6 one, it won't win you the game right away, but it will be very useful to have later.
Yeah, but how does that work? What do you mean? What do you mean it deals the Titan's damage to it?
It deals 40% of the Titan health pool to it.
Oh, of the health pool. Oh, I thought you meant that 40% of the Titan's DPS. No, but okay.
No, the
that's
health,
much better. Yeah, okay. 40% of the health is much better. Yeah.
But you need to get the shields down because I think it only deals a smaller percent of the shield to it. So you have to get the shield down first. But that's usually not an issue. It's a great tool versus like an Ankylo and stuff like that, and it greatly reduces what the opponent can do versus you if you have one of those. It closes up a lot of avenues for your opponents.
Yeah. And but we can see that. Or sorry, what you were about to say?
I was gonna say that ship, however, is very glass cannon. So even with that, you have to keep it careful because the Titan might just kill it before it can even get in range to cast.
I see. And even early game, then I would suppose that it dies quite quickly. So if you have like a sufficient amount of light frigates early, for example, if you have like 40 light frigates, and this one stays in a little bit too long, maybe you can just chase it down.
Yeah, which is why you need to spam early versus Vasari to push that one away.
Yeah.
Or have some form of PD, which works decent.
Yeah.
In Vasari versus Vasari, it's semi-useless. Because the defensors will just shoot down all the missiles and it won't be doing a ton.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because of the if the Vasari matchup is about defensors a lot anyway, then of course there's going to be a lot of PD to counter the missiles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a common second cap ship with the Corshell. If you want the game to end quickly, you go with that one, and if you want a less like a more solid approach, even if the game lasts longer, you go for the Corshell.
Yeah, and that's why this isn't great, I guess, even if it's a very strong capital chip, because you think that it doesn't scale as well, and usually the games do not.
It scales terribly, which means on some maps, if you're far from your opponent, it won't be very good, or if you get stalemated, and you can't do anything, it won't. Yeah.
Unless you get the ultimate then. But if you get the ultimate then, I thought you said the ultimate was very good.
Yeah, the ultimate is very good. So
yeah, so then it scales. If you get to level 6, it scales, I guess.
Yeah, so if you get it to level 6, but now it becomes like a precious item. You don't even want to fight with it because you want to have it for when the Titan phase comes. Because it's still very squishy.
Yeah.
So until you have a Scirra or an Interact to keep it alive, yeah,
it's like the Marsa. People want to focus it down then, I guess.
Yeah, it has a giant target on its back.
Giant bounty, yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, we get to the Titans. So you have hinted at the fact that these are also kind of imba.
Only one of them.
All right, and are we gonna roll the wheel of which one it is?
Which one do you think is the imbalanced one?
I would suspect it is the Culturask.
No.
It isn't.
No.
I
think the Varastra is significantly stronger.
Okay.
We will put it at the end of Imba, mostly because it's not relevant in most games, because you won't have one. But once you have one, usually the game just ends.
Right.
It has massive damage.
Okay.
Massive damage.
Okay.
Even without using its abilities, it has massive damage.
Okay.
And then it has 3 AoE abilities. And it has great mobility, which makes it very hard to kill.
Yeah, it has a micro phase jump, and it has the sucking.
Yeah, and it has the I forgot the name of it, but the buff when you lose HP.
Yeah, and then it gets damage when you lose HP, or
so when you get damaged, the Titan gets stronger.
Right.
And since Titans are usually hard to kill, especially that one that can phase jump, or you have like the carrier to heal it, you can really like bait your opponent into shooting it to have your buff, and then if it's ever get close to dying, you get all its armor back instantly, and or phase jump it away.
Yeah, and it just feels hopeless. I mean, if you're playing like in an aggressive position and you're facing someone who has just sat back and played for economy and like rolls up with this Titan, and you have like a frigate heavy or a cruiser heavy fleet, I mean, it just feels completely hopeless.
You're gonna lose everything.
Yeah. It's so bad because it's not just that the cruisers or the frigates die.
You can't even run away from it. It's gonna teleport on top of you, suck you, and then you jump away, teleports on top of you, suck you. So when you're winning, it's very strong, and when you're losing, it's very strong too. Because for every plant you lose, you're gonna suck and then jump out, suck and then jump out. So they're gonna lose like 250 supply per plant they try to take off you.
Yeah.
And then it gets more XP, and then it becomes more deadly. Yeah. It's also the fastest Titan to clear the minor factions with. So
okay. Because it sucks them up.
Yeah, it sucks them up. And if you if we don't count recall, it's also the faster one to get there and come back because of the phase jump.
Yeah, and you also have phase gates as Vasari, so even more mobility.
And the ultimate is very strong if you use it well. It lets you open a phase lane between 2 points of the universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is very strong as a movement ability to find targets to go kill, basically.
Yeah. You scout out someone's fleet and you just jump there and chase them down with a microphase jump. Yeah.
Also, that Titan's pretty unkillable on its own, and if you're playing in like home mode victory, you can put the home mode on the Titan, so you cannot die until you lose the Titan.
Yeah. I love that ability. That ability is very cool.
And on top of it, you can go straight to your opponent's home wall with the Titan ultimate.
Yeah.
So in home mode victory, that thing is completely busted.
Yeah.
I once won a free fall with that Titan and Penetrators. And I would just go home wall to home wall, kill the starbase, bomb the planet. Go to the next home wall, kill the starbase, bomb the planet.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, unless they're like, and they can't even bunker down at the home world either, because then you just go kill all the other planets. Yeah.
Not even. You kill the starbase, and then the 100 bombing frigates will one-shot the planet.
Oh, yeah. As long as you get rid of the planetary shield arrays.
Yeah, so like 1,000 supply of starbase killer and 1,000 supply of planet damage. And then there's nothing they can do. Because normally the counter to that is to stop the Vasari from getting to Oma with like PGI, so they have to kill multiple starbase, and then you can slowly whittle them down. until they're not able to kill starbases. But you can do that when it's directly to your own world.
Yeah,
the only exception is Vasari Starbase, with a carrier healing it, or like a metric ton of guardians. But if you only have guardians, the Titan will just kill your fleet. So.
But can you still do this? I thought that you could just put the phase gate ability to friendly gravity wells, but you can actually do it to enemy gravity wells.
Oh yeah, you can also go anywhere.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, and the Titan just has good stats by default, on top of having very good ability.
Yes.
Like if you don't count the like tech abilities on their Titan, it's relatively as tanky as a Anclon.
Yeah. But I was about to ask, because in my experience, I felt like this Titan doesn't deal as much damage as you seem to suggest. That's just been my experience.
It's not as good as anti-cap ship damage, but versus everything else, it obliterates.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you would say it is it has ridiculous damage against anything that isn't capital ships or other Titans.
Or Titan, yeah.
Right, but if you're facing also, anything else, yeah.
Yeah, so like you can clean the whole enemy fleet and then you finish their Titans and caps.
Yeah.
But versus like a pure cap ship Titan fleet, it won't be as strong.
I see.
Oh, also it can body block, because it can jump anywhere and you can prevent an enemy Titan from jumping out by just jumping between it and the jump point.
Oh, is it even possible to cancel phase jumps with this? So if a ship is channeling a phase jump?
I don't think so. In general, you can't cancel phase jump in this game. Okay. Unless you completely disable the enemy ship. But
it would be kind of busted if you could do that. So I hope it's not possible.
But you can prevent them from going to the jump point in the first place.
That is also good. Yes.
But the Titan is on the other side. It's hard to maneuver if you don't have the phase jump, the micro phase jump.
Yeah.
Ability, because it will get stuck on everything. So the same way it will get your opponent stuck on it, it will get stuck on everything.
Yeah. Because of its size, or.
Yeah. It's gigantic.
Yeah.
Like it's a Titan amid other Titans.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes sense. Vasari is supposed to be it's supposed to be the most capital ship heavy.
That one is supposed to be like the Vasari homeworld into it, right? The whole population is there. There's administrative centers.
Exactly.
The whole Vasari bureaucracy in there.
Yes. We're supposed to have a whole planet in there. So, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, and the final Titan. I think my brain wanted to place this in Imba rather than the other, just because of how I've heard other people talk about this, and also some experiences I've had on my own of this thing being just unkillable, especially when it has the resilient metalloids artifact on it. It's just impossible to kill. And can be very annoying because of that. But you would still put it in great, do you think?
Yeah, because until the ultimate, it kind of lacks any damage. Beside the missiles, but the missiles can be stopped. The ultimate is very good. And that Titan is more of a support Titan. Because it's also stronger versus Adamant than the other faction. Let's put it below the Raider.
All right, so right here, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. it's strong, but it's more of a support Titan. And an important point: it doesn't clear the minor factions. It actually dies to the pirates.
Oh, really? Even with the nanite drain ability, which is supposed to heal it.
At low level, it will die, even with like items on it and stuff.
That's weird. I thought this would be definitely one of those that would just clear it right away.
Nope. And it just it was way stronger before they nerfed it.
Yeah, so they nerfed it. How did they nerf this?
Okay, so it has an ability that lets you completely disable everything in an AoE. But before you could get it to like 90% uptime or so. And now it stops at like 20, 30%.
Which sounds way more fair, yes.
Yeah, it's a lot more fair. As for trying to kill it, if you have trouble killing it, I recommend using long range things and spreading them out around the ground.
Spreading them out, yeah, so that the nanite
so it cannot suck from your whole fleet at once. It's a small portion.
Yeah, true. I need to try that. There's actually
like every cruisers will be very bad versus it, but Ogrovs will be very strong.
Yeah, if you spread them out, I guess.
Yeah. So it is stronger versus Advent because its damage goes straight through shields. It ignores it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But Advent has way more tools to deal with it than Tech, for example. So for the Rapture, will nerf it a lot, and then you can drain it with Radiance or Dominus. It's just Advent's better equipped versus Titans, but if Advent's not equipped, that one will actually destroy Advent pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay. And what does so Tech has Ogrovs to deal with it, and Advent has some capital ship abilities. Do Destras do well against this too?
They do fine if it's empty. If you can't empty its antimatter first, they won't do very well.
Okay.
Because they will get stunned and then drained, and like the Titan will get its HP back from sucking on the Destras. And once again, you need to kill every carrier capture first before you kill the Titans. Yeah,
so it's very well protected in that sense too.
Yeah, and the best artifact for it is not Metalloid. It's the Exoforce.
Is that no? That's not the antimatter one.
That's the cooldown one. Well, it also gives more antimatter cap, but
yeah, because I thought that the antimatter there's an artifact which gives increased antimatter regeneration, and that one also gives increased cooldowns. I thought.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, okay.
But Exoforce is antimatter cap and more cooldown. Well, faster cooldown, and that one works very well on the Titan. Well, it works very well on most Titans. Beside the Ragnarok and the Coronata. But on this Titan particularly, because then it makes your stun have a bigger impact and makes your healing active all the time.
Yeah.
So it makes it so much harder to drain it, and so much like it multiplies its effect a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that you notice with stuns, like in general in games, is that like just a couple of seconds more is very, very valuable.
Interestingly enough, that Titan gets significantly stronger at tier 5, though we rarely see it.
Because of the ability scaling?
It gets some Titan items that makes the ability of quadruple the area.
So you can are there certain Titan items that you can just get in
at tier 5?
Oh no, sorry, yeah. I thought you meant level 5. Yeah, that makes more sense. If you get to tier 5 research, yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, the other Titans generally don't benefit too much from tier 5, but that one is significantly stronger at tier 5.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought
Yeah, no, but it benefits a lot from levels too. It's not like the Ragnarok, which is similarly strong at level 1 or later on. That one gets exponentially stronger at levels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Varastra doesn't benefit as much from levels either. Besides the ultimate, obviously. Oh, and finally, the ultimate of the Culturask. It's a big AoE. It's a big damage AoE.
It's just a big damage AoE.
Yeah, it's good versus cruisers. So yeah, so it's a big damage AoE. There's not a lot to say about it.
But it deals damage to capital ships as well, but it's not as effective against those.
Not enough to be deadly.
Yeah. Yeah, I suspected as much. Yeah, but it's kind of like the suck ability, sort of, or it serves sort of the same purpose, right?
Yeah, so similar purpose as the suck, but it will work versus the entire fleet instead of a small portion.
Exactly. Yeah, and that makes sense because it's an ultimate. So.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, we got the Dark Fleet Tower.
Dark Fleet Tower!
Yeah, I decided to put this in here. It's I think I said it to you before. I felt like this is kind of a pirate mercenary base of the Vasari. It's supposed to be.
It's more like a garrison.
Yeah,
it's more like a garrison.
Yeah, because they can't leave the grab well they enter, right?
Yeah. It's an anti-raid mechanic, or sometimes a more supply. I think at the very bottom of situational.
Yeah.
They're very good. They become very strong at tier 5 at Civic. So usually Vasari, if you play in a big team game, one person needs to go to tier 5 Civic to get the phase jump detection for the whole map. So if you're that person, you can also get the tower upgrade. But if you're not that guy, then it's not as good.
Right. And how much supply do you get with this at tier 5?
At tier 5, you go from 120 to 180, but more importantly, the range massively increase, which means you can actually cast a ton of them on the same planet.
I see.
To generate a gigantic fleet.
Yeah. So you have these on multiple planets, and you use the multiple planets at the same time to just send all the Dark Fleet towers to the same planet for defense.
Yeah.
I see. And then this.
Yeah. You can also play with your push. Let's say you're in a stalemate, and you make like 4 of them. Instead of pushing with 2,000 supply or so, you'll push with like 3,000.
Yeah.
So it helps in those situations too. But that's why it's in situational.
Yeah. But you can send these to the opponent's grab well as well, right?
Yeah.
Given that you have
if you're
enough, that you're in range, but they can't leave the grab well, so that's the thing. But you have
take one planet at a time.
Yeah. But that's very nice because you don't have to spend fleet supply even to use them.
Yeah, they're just good in a stalemate in that situation.
Exactly. Yeah, because with pirate mercenary bases, for example, you need to spend you need to actually have the supply to use them, but you don't need.
Those are like garrison, you know.
Yeah. Free supply. Yeah.
Yeah, or raids.
Yeah,
like you use those, you use your phase raid, you send everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. 3,000 supply push. Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's balanced.
All right, but
and then
sorry. Yep.
And then the tech has 3,000 supply of garrison, and okay.
Yeah, and then
pros and cons.
Then it's an even fight again. Yes. All right, but that's pretty much the tier list, I guess. No ships in Kappa tier here, which is disappointing for the Kappa tier, I guess.
Was there any ship in the Kappa tier for the other faction? I guess the Acolyte for Advent?
Yeah, the Acolyte for Advent, and I think I've been convinced otherwise since, but I actually put the Percher on here when I made my video.
No, come on.
But actually, I had some good reasons to put it there, I think. But I think there's some. I think I definitely been convinced that the Percheron is not as bad as I thought before. So yeah.
Yeah, I see Kappa as something you should never build, and I don't think there's any Vasari-ship that fits in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or tech, but all right.
Yeah, or tech. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for helping me with this tier list. And thanks everyone for watching, and see you in the next video.